Right. Look, Mary. Yeah. I read your comments and I had a whole thing written out. But at this point, like, we've completely gone off what the original point of this was. Yeah. And we've now gone into you literally proving my point that you blow things out of proportion. And this isn't a point that I made publicly. Literally, what I said to DJ Naffy in the comments is that the goal wasn't to win. I was just sticking up for myself. Because at some point, you have to start taking responsibility for your own actions. Yes, I put up that initial video, that first video, but you decided to comment on it and start trying to call me out for something. Now, if anyone believes that what they're being called out for is wrong, then of course they're going to defend themselves. Of course they are, whether it's publicly or privately. Right? I decided to carry on publicly because I couldn't contact you privately. But as you stated in your comments, you unblocked me on Discord and you had the opportunity to contact me privately. But you decided to carry on doing this publicly. And it's like, when it gets to the point where you're contradicting your own self interests, then to me it changes from me trying to defend myself and me recognizing that this is going to a place where it should never have gone to in the first place. Because I'm not gonna read out your comments. I'm not gonna read out what you have chosen to make public, because that was never the point. That was never the point, to start talking about things within your personal life that should not be public. Like, throughout all of this, and people can watch these videos. Like, you can watch these videos yourself, Mary. Like, because what the things that you're now trying to accuse me of are just ridiculous now. Because none of these things have ever been mentioned. You're now starting to claim that I'm blaming you for everything that's gone wrong in your life, when that was never the case. That was never the case. It's never been the case. And I recognize that behavior, because I've seen that behavior in my friends. I've seen that behavior in, you know, family members. I've seen that behavior within myself, and it's not good. It's not good at all. No one said that you were a bad friend. I was clearly pointing out, which you've still not been able to give me an example of, which is, if we're talking about, which was in my original video, if we're talking about me deserving what I'm getting because it's exactly what I put out, what I give out, and the example in the video is feeling left out of, group situations, which I've not blamed any of these people for. I've not even, like I said in the video, I've not even spoken to them about it, because it was all about figuring out why I'm reacting that way. what you failed to realize was it was self-analysis. Something that I used to do on this YouTube channel before, which I've always done. I've always said I check myself first. So what I'm gonna say is just, at this point, you're saying to me, you've unblocked me on Discord, so if I've got anything real to say to you, then I should say it there. When, again, you've chosen to carry it on here, we literally could have talked there. You admit, yeah, you literally admit you've unblocked me on Discord, so you had every opportunity to talk to me there. Because it's not just a simple thing to just unblock somebody on Discord. You've got to search for the name. Do you know what I mean? There's a whole process. I'm not trying to make it complicated, but it's not as simple as you're making out. And if you're already at that point, you literally could have said, yo, this, you hate me, whatever. But after trying to call me out saying that I'm singling you out by responding to your comment, which is only one of 2 comments, and the other comment certainly did not go anywhere as near as in depth as what you were trying to accuse me of and what you were trying to do. So again, logically, if it was anybody else, if that's what they were met with, because no other comments have come up on that video, if that's what they were met with, what are you expecting them to do? Should I have ignored you? And if your goal is to paint this different picture of me that isn't true, just let that happen. Because again, you blocked me. You blocked me. You admit you've unblocked me on Discord, so you blocked me. So it wasn't a case where I could speak to you privately without having to carry on publicly responding to you. Yet you're claiming that I'm trying to twist things. I'm trying to twist everything. I'm trying to make out that none of this makes any sense, considering the fact that you decided to comment after not speaking to me for nearly a year. You decided to comment on my video, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have. You have every right to. I made that video public, talking about situations that I'm going through. So of course, I have to expect that people are going to respond to me publicly. At some point, you've got to take responsibility for your actions, Mary. Because again, I'm not going to talk about your comments. I'm not going to air out these things that you have decided to make public, because I don't think that's right. I don't, as someone who has dealt with trauma, as someone who has, I don't think it's right to air those things. Like, I'm half tempted to delete those comments. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's not up to me to do that, because again, it's your choice to make these things make these things public about things that have happened in your life. I'm not going to reiterate them because it's not right. And I'm not trying to claim any kind of moral high ground or anything like that. I'm literally trying to diffuse the situation rationally and logically. And yeah, it does go against everything that you're trying to make me out to be. You're claiming that I'm heartless. Would a heartless person be doing this? And again, I'm not trying to win points, win favors, win any kind of competition or anything like that. Which, again, I didn't turn it into, somebody else turned it into. And as I responded, that was not the goal. I was just sticking up for myself. But yeah, his comment did make me chuckle. And people can read that, like everything that has gone on, everyone can find this stuff and read it. Everyone's like, and if people want to believe that, yeah, I'm this heartless person, then cool. Like you know, that's what they believe. But once again, at some point, you've got to take responsibility for your own actions. Cause and effect. If you were really trying to get me to take responsibility for mine, I'm sorry, but you're going the wrong way about it by trying to accuse me of things that are just not true. Never once have I blamed you for any of the trauma that you've had to suffer in your life. So I don't understand why bringing up me having a childhood pet that was tortured, not by us, by somebody else, but me having a childhood pet that was tortured caused trauma. And that's why I hate pets all of a sudden. Effectively saying that I'm blaming pets for people hurting them, which makes no sense. For full context, I have always said I am not a pet person. That was one example. I won't have a pet myself in my own home. Doesn't mean that I hate animals. Like, none of this makes any sense at this point, Mary, because you're really trying to paint this picture of me. You're really trying to dig your heels into something that was nothing to do with you in the first place. And you've still not been able to give me an example of how I have done this to other people. Either this, what we're going through now, or in terms of what I talked about in the first video, of feeling left out of situations. I asked you, as a person who I've never met in real life, who lives on the other side of the world, what examples do you have of me doing this? I brought up the fact that if it was a case of me going over to Canada and you felt left out of that, I pointed out, how could you feel like that if when I was out there, we spoke to you, we FaceTimed you, and everything was cool? If you wanted it, it wasn't like you didn't know it was happening. You knew it was happening. You knew I was going to be there. And if you could be there, if you wanted to, or you could be there, then you would have. I didn't say you were a bad friend to your best friend and didn't support her event. You have your reasons for doing that. I don't know what they are, but you have your reasons as to why you couldn't make it, but your boyfriend at the time could. That wasn't my point. My point is, if you're trying to reference yourself as feeling left out of a situation involving me, how could that happen? Because in terms of the example I gave of someone traveling somewhere else, and you not knowing about it, how could that be the case with yourself when you did? And I talked to you whilst I was out there. You don't live in Canada, you live in America. And this is what I mean. This is why what you were saying just did not make any sense. I'm getting back what I deserve because I do this to other people. What examples are you talking about? You've not been able to give any, and now it's shifted onto something completely different, which is what you did when we were talking about you losing the mod badge. It wasn't about the mod badge anymore. It was about something completely different. Even though, and I've said this in my first response video to you, you did nothing wrong. I didn't say you personally did anything wrong. You were not singled out as losing your mod badge. All the mods at the time, which were 4, lost the mod badge. At no point did I say I didn't value your time. I said to you, it's not a big deal. But you took it as a big deal. You blew it out of proportion to the point where you blocked me. There's been no need for me to go off topic and start talking about other things that are not involved in our situation. There's no need for me to start talking about your past and traumas that you've been through when that's not anything to do with the situation. So again, at this point, I have to reiterate, if I said that right, at some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. I'm not going to apologize for anything because I don't feel like I've got anything to apologize for. I didn't come at you, you came at me. And now it's getting to the point where you want to get nasty about things and start bringing up parts of your life that just should not be made public, as far as I'm concerned. But you've chosen to make this public as a way of trying to make me out to be this heartless person, this person that never cared about you, this person that is abusive to you when I've never been abusive to you at all. Sorry, but no. You're trying to make me out to be this horrible, horrible person when I'm sorry, that has never been the case. And again, people can watch these videos. But I'm not apologizing for anything because there's nothing for me to apologize for. You said you said you've unblocked me on Discord if there's something real that I have to say to you, and I'll say it here. I'm not gonna message you. I'm gonna leave it here. If you message me again, I probably will block you because none of us need this. None of us. This isn't healthy for any of us, and trying to carry it on when at this point there's not going to be a resolution. It's okay that we're not friends. It's okay that we don't get on. It's okay, like we don't have to be in each other's lives. We haven't been for nearly a year. And again, I'm not trying to paint this out as, anything. I'm literally being realistic about the situation. We can go, as far as I'm concerned, you go your way and I'll go mine. I'll carry on doing what I have been doing ever since you blocked me. Because I'm not taking this to where you want to take it. I'm not taking it there. I'm not going to try and bring up things in my past and claim that you're trying to do things that you're not. I'm not doing that. You have your real friends. You have your best friends, as you said, that care about you, as I pointed out, because they were looking for you publicly. They were worried about you publicly. So you've got your people there. And they love you. They care about you. They want what's best for you. And I can imagine they would agree, this is not what's best for you. This is not healthy. I'm not saying you have to apologize or this, that, and the third. I'm not asking you to do anything but look after yourself. Just look after yourself, man. I hope things get better. I hope you feel better. Do you know what I mean? And this may be me assuming that you're not in a good place right now. I don't know. I'm just going off recent events and stuff like that. I could be wrong. But I hope things do get better. To the point where you don't feel like you have to lash out like this. And I'll leave it there.